This is part 2 in our video on building a feed for designers, artists, and other builders to document their creative process. In the first video, we built a collection feed that started using OnChainKit on base, and then we added in the Zora SDK to be able to create a feed of collections. In this video, we're going to be focused on progressive onboarding, focused on minting and commenting with 3 steps. Step 1, we're going to implement Privy so that people can sign in with email and they don't need to worry about wallets. Step 2, we're going to add in crossmint so that people can buy and comment using credit cards, no need for any crypto. And step 3, we're going to add get contract events so that we can read the comments that are being listed. We originally wanted to use Zora for that. I don't think they have the method. The only reason I'm including this is in case Zora or anybody who has a line with Zora wants to reach out and potentially suggest. So far, we've been able to build on Zora using the Zora SDK. This is the first moment in the building of our application that we cannot use Zora. The method that they're missing is an ability to get the comments on a token. We can get a token, but there is no method to get comments from a token. So what we will be using is get contract events, and we'll be listening for the comment event that is emitted when someone leaves a comment. Let's get started. So step 1, we're going to add in Privy. So to do that, let's just say Command L. Please add @Privy. I've already indexed the docs. Let's assume you haven't, and if you start writing @Privy, you can just click add new doc, copy the URL to the docs, which will be over on the docs page, so docs.privy.io. Put that in the docs, and then you'll have the same tag that I do. For me, I can just say, please add Privy SDK. Let's cancel that. I didn't do Command Enter. I want to do this global search, so I'm going to make sure I do Command Enter. First step is going to be to install it. It's going to tell me to use npm. I'm using yarn, so I'm going to just copy the package, crash my server, yarn, add, paste the package name. It'll add in the package. And then I need to create a new provider. So inside of my providers folder, I'll create a new file called Privy provider.tsx. I'm just going to copy because I feel like it's going to create, well, let's see. I should be able to apply. It's applying it exactly where I wanted it to. Look at that. That's great. Okay, we'll accept these changes blindly. We need our Privy app ID. We'll replace that. Customize the methods we want. Let's keep them both. That does feel like a fair balance of both email and wallet, so we'll delete that. Create on login, only users without wallets. No prompt on signature. Interesting. We don't need to prompt people to sign. It's a cool feature of the emails. That looks good. So we'll need the Privy app ID. I'll make sure to add that. Let's keep walking through the steps. And then inside of our providers, we click apply. This will add in the Privy provider to wrap our WAGMI provider. I think I want WAGMI outside of Privy. Let's leave it as is for now. And if there's an issue, no. I think we want WAGMI and query client provider outside of Privy just because I would like them outside because I feel they're more universal. But that could, you know what, let's let the AI cook. Until there's an issue, let it cook. Now let's go over to page. What is this going to do? Oh, now we can use the Privy hooks. I don't know that we need to use the Privy hooks like this. So we'll stop it here. And let's reject these changes. It went a little bit too far, and I don't want to go that far. Wow, it looks like they have a test app ID that we can use. I didn't even know that they had that. So let's use that while we can so that I don't have to share any info. So we'll save that. Page, nothing should have changed. I don't know what's changing, but let's save the changes. And let's rerun our server with yarn dev. And let's see if anything crashes. And how will we know if it works? We want a login button, so let's add a button that allows people to log in. We'll make this add a login button with the new @Privy using Privy. only show the identity component if the user is logged in. We'll do a global search on that, even though we really just want to focus on this file. We already have a Privy provider component. Why are you telling me to create that? Create a login button. I love that idea. Let's create that login button. So let's new component, new folder, login button. Inside of here, we'll make a new file, login button.tsx. Let's just copy. I don't want to mess with it. Trying to make a new file. Save that. Open up a new file, index.tsx. Import login button. Export. It always likes to export it like that. I like exporting default, so we'll export default. And now we've got our login button, which we can over here on this page say, you already going to tell me how to do it? Yeah, I want this. How are you going to apply it? Authenticated. Okay, this looks the same, yeah? What changed here? I don't know what you are, but we're rejecting that change. If not authenticated, show the login button. Otherwise, show our identity component. This one is definitely what we want, so let's... Not this one. I want this one. Let's accept this one. Loading tokens. I don't care about this change either, so we'll say no. Oh, did it change some of the curly... What? Let's just accept both of these then and see what it... I just want the imports. I think it went a little far here. And so let's go ahead and wrap the identity. Is there anything else I didn't decide? Accept. Okay. Wrap the identity in some curly braces. And we're going to say only if authenticated. We do that. We show the identity component. Otherwise, we show the login button. So now I should see a login button because I'm not logged in. Let's see. Is it done loading? Starting. It says it's ready. Let's refresh. I might be looking at a cache version of the page. Looks like I'm looking at a cache version of the page. We're still on step 1, adding Privy email login. Hopefully we now have Privy. Oh, looking like there's some sort of error. We'll let empty space. Invalid code during cross-app auth flow. This feels like an issue with potentially reordering of providers. Let's try to reorder our providers and let's put those on the outside. Leave Privy provider on the inside. Is this any better for you? Let's just crash, restart. Something wrong with login button? Where's login button? On page. Page is using use client, yep. But this is a default export. This is probably the issue, is it tried to use it as not a default export, but we are using it as a default export. Border radius, weird stuff. Compiling not found. Same error. Failed to compile. Module not found. What module is not found? Large page data. Okay, I tried to trust cursor. Looks like we can't trust cursor. Let's try to take a step back and follow the getting started guide on our own. So if cursor fails, we just go in, we're using Next, which is built on top of React. Let's use yarn, copy this, stop it, paste, send it. Should already be done. Let's keep going. Select your login methods in your Privy dashboard. We did not do that, but I'm not seeing an error related to Privy app ID, so let's keep moving. Privy app provider. This should be the same. Let's go ahead and rerun our server. Privy provider. We're using a demo key, which should hopefully work. Next.js, use client, Privy provider. Does this have use client? It does have use client. Providers, app ID config with an appearance, login methods, embedded wallets. Just use Privy. It makes it sound like it's so easy. Let's see if removing Privy. Let's try removing our changes from page, because I think it was working before we added the changes to page. So let's red, green, refactor this. We're at red. Let's try to just walk it back until we got passing changes. What are these? Nope, we want before the Privy changes. So I think right here is where we want to stop. Let's try right here. Are we still failing even at this point without? If that's the case, if we're still failing, we are going to want to keep removing stuff, which the next part I'll remove is the providers. Could not open index.njs. What is going on? Set up editor integration. This is so weird. Go to localhost again. Okay, let's try removing it from providers as well. Get rid of Privy provider. Goodbye. You're out of here. Looks like immediately we start seeing 200 as soon as we remove Privy provider. Immediately everything loads. Okay, so the provider is the issue. We're doing something wrong with the provider. Let's walk that back and verify that now adding this kills everything. Right? Now we're totally module not found. Okay, so some module is not being found here. Is Privy provider right here? Privy provider is right there. We drill in. Export function, Privy provider, React node, Privy IO, React off. Is that correct? As Privy. React from React node should totally be fine. Maybe it is the fact that it's our app ID. Let's try setting up an actual app inside of Privy and see if that solves it. If that's the error, I will be surprised. This is a really. Let's see if deleting this causes the same error. Yeah, let's just try adding an actual app ID. I've reached the maximum number of applications. They're not going to let me set up anymore. Well, let's delete crowd views. I haven't used them in a while. Delete the app. I don't know, what's the app? Okay. Can I create a new app now? Let me create a new app, please. Financial verse we can delete. Cleaning up the dev environment. Still unable to create new apps. Okay, for now we're just going to use an existing app. Let's use one that I'm going to plan on deleting, that way it doesn't matter. Relay Bridge is an old app that I doubt we're going to use anymore. So let's go to retrieve API keys. Copy the app ID. Let's just put it directly in the code. And does that help fix anything? No. In that case, let's just copy the exact reference code. Where was that app ID? I feel like I'm making some very, very simple mistake. Do we need to do something special when it's with WAGME? WAGME. Is there anything special or no? Deleting Privy Provider, everything works, right? Deleting Privy Provider, everything compiles just fine. So something's happening when I'm adding in Privy Provider. Question is, what is it? It looks like we're using the same default setup for Privy Provider. What if I put it inside of everything? Are we still okay? No, we immediately fail. But what is failing? Can we use cursor to debug it? No. In-app browser not possible. What is this? Providers. Import trace not found. Dot providers, Privy Provider. So this is not being found inside of providers. Is it because it's a default export? We're exporting a default function. This is a simple case of the wrong import being used. Oh, is that still going to fail? Let's crash it and run it again. Starting, we're at check marks. Ready, we're at check marks. Fingers crossed. Refresh the page, we're compiling. Still feeling optimistic. Nope, and we're back to failures again. Module not found. Okay. Privy Provider is in /Privy Provider. Privy Provider is right there. That looks great. How's our package.json for Privy? Privy /react auth. Privy /react auth. All this is looking just fine. And we're passing it in a child. Solana Web3 radius. I don't know what is going on here. Let's try yarn remove. Yarn remove. Just get it all the way out, and then we'll try it again. We should no longer have @privy in here. I'm not seeing any sort of @privy. My current hypothesis is the package version that Cursor gave me was invalid, and I need to just use the default package for installing. Yarn add privy at latest. Let's do that. I also have a package lock in here, and that could be also an issue. So let's delete this package lock so that it stops trying to use npm. Let's add and install our packages this way. It's potentially that we're using different package managers, one for using npm and one for yarn, and the package managers could be conflicting when there's packages that overlap, such as between privy and on-chain kit and wagme. Let's try it again. Start our server. Server starts. Server's ready. Compiling not found immediately. Just immediately starts compiling not found. We try refreshing. Say a little prayer. Could not access. Add to the chat. Let's ask that question, if possible. We get the same error. Some weird errors happening, and it's now slowing us down. Is it because we're missing the logo? It should not be because of logo. I hope it's not because of logo. You're not even letting me send my cursor messages anymore. I'm thinking, let me just exit out of this terminal or this session altogether. Figure out what's going on. Currently stuck. We're 22 minutes. Let's give it until 30, and if we're still at 30 and we're not getting privy to work, let's swap out privy and use something else. Because we got to keep moving. This is a hackathon. Cannot let ourselves get caught up like this. We're going to start by deleting the node modules folder. Let's just start with a fresh build of yarn. Install all the packages. Get them all back in here. Install them all together. Maybe I should delete my yarn lock. Let's really start from delete yarn lock. Delete node modules. Yarn. We don't have a package.lock, we don't have a yarn lock, we don't have a node modules folder. Install all of these packages together and reference them together so that you can find the packages that you need. Because we keep getting that weird Solana error. Hopefully this works. What do we do if this, what do we learn if this does not work? What is our current blocker? Our current blocker is when we add in a basic privy provider that is sent by privy, it is crashing our app. If we comment it out, it works. If we leave it in, it crashes. And so when we followed the instructions, a minimum version, a minimum TypeScript. Do we have a TypeScript version? Package.json. Do we have TypeScript in here? We do have TypeScript of version greater than 5. We do. We have React version of 18. We have React version of 19, I believe. We do. So both of those are met. We installed. Set your login versions. Count type. Blah, blah, blah. Get your Privy app ID. I got my Privy app ID. Import Privy. I did that. We did that. Just use Privy. It should be that simple. It's usually this simple, so I'm surprised it's not working like it usually does. Let's try yarn dev again. Please work so we can move on to bigger and more important parts of the app. No dev wants to get caught on configuration of a third-party service. Let's just close out of that tab and open up a new one. Really try to get this as fresh as possible. Fingers crossed. Let's run it in a bigger server so that I can see more. We're going to start yarn dev in a separate... Okay, whoa, crash. I want you to run on localhost 3000, please, using a new terminal to be able to get more error messages so that I can copy them into ChatGPT to debug. We have 4 minutes left before we're going to drop this attempt to import Privy and use something else. We're getting the not found just like we were before. Cannot resolve this. Okay, let's try to debug. Can I copy all this text? Just a poop ton of text. Okay, let's stop after this one because I think it's just repeating. Copy. Debug the error. Can you debug it, cursor? Because it's frustrating. Please help me debug. Let's try doing what it says. Yarn add missing package. I don't know what this one's saying. We're supposed to have a standalone Privy provider, and then it gets used here. Cursor's not feeling so smart. Let's see if chat has anything better to say. Help debug, please. Oh, I lost the... Can I copy this? Oh, it's too long. Okay, so cursor lets me use more than chat does. That's interesting. Escape. Whoops. Yep, that's a lot of text. Okay, we added in the package. Can we crash our server over here? What happens this time? Starting. Don't still tell me that you can't find it, please. Because I just installed your Solana package for you. Okay, so if it's the Solana package's fault, maybe I should be it looks like it compiled this time. Wow. So the issue is Privy has an expectation that we're going to install a Solana package even though I'm not building on Solana. We wasted about 10 minutes trying to debug that during our valuable hackathon time. It's okay, we figured it out. We are now loaded. This is a note from Max and the Privy team that this drastically slowed down my build. This video has documented how I tried to add Privy using Cursor. Please help us make any updates possible to Privy so that we can not encounter these during our precious build times during hackathons when we really want to use Privy. And critical moments like these, time just ended when I would have taken out Privy if I had not figured it out. And so I'm grateful I get to keep Privy and I love the UX. But if it slows down devs too much, they will remove the package, especially if you're forcing us to add in like Solana libs for devs that aren't even trying to build on Solana. Let's keep moving on. So we have added Privy, but we don't have a login button. So let's go back to adding that login button. Let's see if we can go back to, was there ever the login button? Back to page, app, page, close the others, and we should be able to bring in an is authenticated. Let's just copy the things we need, paste them there, import Privy, use Privy, and then around our identity we will wrap it, and again say authenticated, question mark identity, otherwise login button. Save that. Now we see a connect wallet button. We click on it. Privy, bro, what is going on? You usually work so well. Why are you being so buggy? Loading tokens, connect our wallet. Privy's just not opening on, I guess on the mobile display it wasn't opening. So we'll just do it on a big desktop. Connect wallet. We've got an email sign in, or we can continue with a wallet. Let's continue with email. Okay, we're now logged into Privy. And from here, what else do we need to do? Is there anything we need to do? I guess I would like, can we put an on-click into the identity? Let's check out OnChainKit and see if clicking on the identity can log us out so we can test the login and logout flow, both sides of it and not just one. Let's find identity, identity. Not seeing it there. Identity. Is there like a identity React? Okay, well what's the name React? Is there a way, is there like an on click, or can I just use on click? No. What about avatar? Does avatar have any properties of like an on click? Props avatar React. Has copy address on click. Is sliced. Not super helpful so far, the components. Seems like they have a very specific use case in mind. What is the badge? What even is this? Displaying attestations attached to a user. Who's using this? I guess we really just want to display an avatar if possible. I guess we don't really want to use OnChainKit's avatar stuff. Unless we can just wrap this in a button. Maybe what I want to do is I just want to wrap this in a button. Or a div. Can I give a div an on-click? I don't think I can, but let's try it. Cut this, put it inside. Can I give you an on-click? On-click, logout. Are we already importing logout? Ready, we don't care about... Is login not being used? Oh yeah, it's in login button, but it's not directly being used here. Will that work? Can we just... Will that log us out? Looks like it does, not in the best way, but it'll work. Let's try the full login flow again. And if this works, we'll keep moving on, because I know this was the first step and it's taken up quite a bit of time. Copy our code, paste our code. We're logged back in. It's giving us the wrong name and it's telling us to copy. When we click on it, it then logs us out. Not the best UX, but it works for now. We'll clean it up later. We have added Privy email login. Our next step is to add in cross mint so that way we can sell tokens with credit card.